Okay. Good morning, Middletown. Good morning. My name is Marcus Henry. I'm the General Manager of our Newcastle County Department of Community Services. Thank you for joining this morning at the groundbreaking celebration of the long-awaited Newcastle County Southern Library. Come on. Yeah. Today is actually a culmination of a multi-year effort to design a library that meets the needs of all Southern Newcastle County residents. It has been programmed and designed to reflect the input received from the community through several public engagement meetings we've had the last few years. And we hope before you leave today, you'll take a moment to view the 4 renderings of the final design which have been placed on easels around the tents. But first, I'd like to begin to recognize our elected officials and others who have contributed to this project. Obviously, our Newcastle County Executive, Matthew MEYER. And in addition to our county executive, we are joined by Chief Administrative Officer Vanessa Phillips. Our esteemed Chief of Staff, Andrea Allman. And I think she'll be here shortly, our Public Works General Manager, Tracy Searles. There she is, she made it, okay. We're also joined by the Councilman, Bill Bell, Councilman Dave Carter, and I think we're going to be joined by Councilman John Cartier too. Sorry, John. It's hard with these masks. Okay, good to see you. Okay. Representing the state of Delaware, we are pleased to be joined by Lieutenant Governor Bethany Hall-Long, Secretary of State and my neighbor, Jeff Bullock. And I think she's here, Deputy Secretary of State Courtney Stewart. Our great Senator Stephanie Hansen. And my dear friend and colleague who helps in all these things, State Librarian Annie Norman. Okay. From the town of Middletown, we have Vice Mayor James Reynolds. Town Manager Morris Deputy. Communications Manager Kristen Krenzer. And Councilman Aaron Blythe. And Councilman Robert McGee. Morris, tell Kenny we miss him today. Please. Mayor Kenny Brand, appreciate him. Representing Newcastle County Library Advisory Board is our chairman, Abdullah Muhammad. And members, Kay Bowes, Rose Pazzarella, and Jim Young. We also gratefully acknowledge the members of the Friends of the Southern Library who have joined us today. You know, in each of our library projects, we have called upon our library friends groups to assist with raising funds and obtaining community input during the design phase of these projects. Representatives of the Friends of the Southern Library have excelled at both of these initiatives, already to date raising over $650,000. Round of applause for that, please. Now their goal is $750,000. I'm pretty confident they're going to meet that goal. Tremendous work. And also obviously generating all the community interest for this new library. So please join me in recognizing key members of the Friends and Capital Campaign Committee who have been able to join us today. Susan KEMER. Jim and Valerie Young. Linda Goodman. Sheila Carlisle and my special assistant. Bishop Jeff Broughton Sr. Kristen Krenzer. Bill O'Neill. Craig Sherman. And Stephanie Wooten. I do like this breeze we're having, by the way. It's okay. Finally, I would like to recognize the members of the design team who are responsible for the beautifully functional and sustainable building you will have as a major community asset, hopefully in about a year and a half. That's our goal. For me personally, it was a great pleasure to work on this project with my friend and colleague, General Manager, Public Works, Tracy Searles, and her project manager who gets all the grief in the world, but he makes it happen, Steve Rubel. Especially my friend, colleague, Community Services Manager Diana Brown. She makes all things happen for libraries in Newcastle County. We owe her gratitude. And Appoquinimink Library Manager Kevin Sweat, who's very excited about this new library, right? And also from our architectural and engineering team members, Bob Mafia, Chuck Dobbs, Derek Jones, Steve Davies, and Steve Wooten. Thank you, thank you. We'd also like to recognize Wilson Construction for providing construction management services and assisting our staff member, Suzanne Casey, today with this groundbreaking event. Thank you. And if I didn't say it before, I want to thank Suzanne personally. I also want to thank the Public Works staff that helped to set this up. Thank you for your help today. Thank you. So the Southern Library project was the final element of our Newcastle County Library Master Plan, and it has been in the planning stages at least since 2007, as I understand it. And while the Great Recession and other unfortunate events happened in the past to delay this project, we are so very grateful that under the leadership of County Executive Matt Meyer, it has become a reality. So at this time, I'd like to introduce County Executive Matt Meyer.
Good morning. Good morning. I got to speak a little loud. I'm behind some bulletproof glass. Is it bulletproof, Marcus? I'm not sure. And this, my job, you got to be careful. But let's give a big round of applause to the Community Services General Manager, Marcus Henry. Thank you, Marcus, for everything that you do. It's a beautiful morning in Middletown. Thank you so much to the Public Works crew. Made sure we're staying cool this morning. All the construction workers, who I understand, filled up a 10-foot hole just yesterday to make sure the site looks a little bit better. We're getting there. I was telling someone a few days ago that I'm tired of these groundbreakings where I just move a little bit of dirt and then move on to my next event. I actually want to build something. So I don't know if we'll get a chance to actually build much of the library today. I know we're expecting it to be done in early 2022. But thank you so much. I feel like I'm talking to friends here and advocates. So many of you have come to me over the years since I first came into office in 2017, telling me, number one, how important this is, and number two, attributes of the library that you wanted, where it should be located, what should be inside, what should be outside. And I want to thank each and every one of you for that. We may not be realizing every aspect of your vision, but we certainly took your views into consideration. I got to be honest, when I first came into office in 2017, I was unconvinced. I was not convinced that Middletown needed a new library. I read the library master plan, and I heard from various library advocates about the importance of a library in this area. But I spent time also at the Appoquinimink Library under the leadership of Kevin Sweat and his staff. And I'll tell you, when I went to the Appo Library and I walked around, and let's be honest, it doesn't take very long to walk around the Appo Library, it was clear that the facilities there were not what they are in libraries in Newcastle County. They can't compare to the Bear Library, to the Brandywine 100 Library, to the Kirkwood Library, to the Route 9 Library, even to the Newark Free Library. But what I saw in that library was a certain magic, a certain beauty, a certain community necessity, exactly what a library should be. People from East Lake Street literally walking there so they could learn how to read. People there at the computers applying for jobs, a staff fully invested in literacy and in a community gathering and learning place. So from day one of this library planning, it's been incumbent on me and upon all of our staff that while we built something new and grand and beautiful with the most extraordinary set of facilities any library in our state has ever seen, it's been really, really important to me that we don't lose those core values of the Apple Library under the leadership of Kevin Sweat and Diana and Marcus. That staff investment, the community investment, the Friends of the Library investment. So while we're here celebrating something today so incredibly new and exciting, I think, for everyone, it was important to me that I start by talking about something that's kind of old here, that people have become to be accustomed to, a community institution that will not go away. Those basic values and basic traits will only get stronger right here on Main Street. This project is an extraordinary example of collaboration, the best of the Delaware way. If somebody came to me and said the county needs to build a $25 million library, I would have a real hard time saying yes, looking at our budget and finding the resources to do it. If somebody went to Jeff Bullock and the governor in the state and said we need a $25 million library, they'd have a hard time doing it. If somebody went to the Friends of the MOT, of the Apple Library, and said we need a $25 million library, they'd have a hard time doing it. But when we put everything together with a little bit of help from Volunteer Brewing Company, we're awful close to that $25 million, and we're going to get it done. So give yourselves a round of applause for that collaboration. We've had one of the most inclusive public processes to date to determine what this library is going to be. We've had 3 public engagement meetings headed by key library, really nationally renowned library consultants and architects to determine what the community wants, what features, programs, and services residents of southern Newcastle County want. I participated in quite a few. If you attended any of those, raise your hand. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. It's a small fraction of really the hundreds who've engaged to determine what will be in this library. When the library is finished in 2022, you're going to see dedicated children and teen spaces, a wide range of individual and group study areas, large meeting rooms, of course, computers, a maker's lab, a multimedia production studio, gender-inclusive restrooms, which I think it might be the first public building in the state of Delaware to have gender-inclusive restrooms, landscaped with all native species, a rain garden, electric vehicle charging stations, solar panels for roof and site lighting, electric vehicles charging stations. We're going to be LEED Silver certified. Extensive daylight harvesting to reduce dependence on electricity. I also wanted to add the library has been a challenging few months. We've asked people like Kevin and all of library staff to do something that they've really never had an opportunity to do before, something I think that was never anticipated. In our response to this COVID-19 pandemic, now with curbside library checkout, it's reminded us why libraries are such a key component to community resilience and success. During the lockdown, staff has added a host of e-materials. You can check out e-books online. There's a whole bunch of virtual programming. We have Wi-Fi in parking lots, so anyone from the community can literally drive up to your library parking lot and go to school. Beginning in June, as I mentioned, we have curbside delivery, and the response has been overwhelming. I wanted to read one thing we received a few weeks ago from a library patron who wanted to express their deep gratitude for the dedication and hard work while the library remains closed to the public. You're providing an amazing service, and I hope everyone is recognizing what valuable work you do. I realized yesterday as my 5-year-old celebrated their 100th day of homeschooling that I couldn't have taught them for the past 20 weeks without the use of the library books and DVDs. Plus, not only do I appreciate having those resources to help me educate my kids, but getting books for myself is a huge comfort during this incredibly challenging time. Our future in the library system in the county and here in the MOT is so much brighter than our present. Thank you so much for coming today. Thank you for collaborating, and let's all work together to make this institution something special for decades to come. Thank you.
forgot to thank one other major group that's been helping with this, and I got to say DelDOT, under leadership of Ms. Cohn and also Deputy Director Nicole Majeski. There's a lot of road improvements that are going to be coming through this in the next few years, and we have a great collaboration going with DelDOT. I want to give them some applause, please. But I think, as Matt alluded to in his comments, this is a partnership with the state and other funders to help make these things happen. But specifically with the state of Delaware, it's been an outstanding partnership in the development of libraries in Newcastle County. They fund construction up to 50% and provide library technology, including access to Wi-Fi and computers for the public. And we're so very grateful for their ongoing support and partnership with this Southern Library construction project. Thank you to the state of Delaware. So, it's my great pleasure to welcome up our great Lieutenant Governor Bethany Hall-Long.
Thank you. Wow, thank you. It's awesome to be home here. And Matt, this is not bulletproof, this is coronavirus proof. I think we're protecting those of us who are screaming. Sid from the nurse. You don't see my name in the program, but I changed everything in my schedule. I know Governor Carney wanted to be here as well. So you're going to hear from myself and our awesome Secretary of State today. But I had the pleasure of being a representative and a senator for this community, and so how could I not be here? I have watched over the past over 15 years or more where we've looked across southern Newcastle County, including our friends from Odessa and Townsend and outside in the Newcastle proper, for the right location. And I want to commend each and every one who's worked on this project, and to our county exec and team that he has here. Thank you. You have a great location. And to Diana, I know you don't like to be called out, and to Dr. Annie Norman, my library friends, and the power women who keep us going across the state, thank you. And Marcus Henry, your mama, Margaret Rose, spent 9 years sitting by me in the Senate. And if I didn't say thank you to your team, I got a lot of secrets. But let's give it up to these awesome librarians and the partners here today. I want to say thank you on behalf of Governor Carney. And to our municipal leaders, and specifically to Vice Mayor Reynolds, I promised him I would be brief. I do want to just say thank you. And to our county council persons who are here today, it is a village, it is an effort, and I cannot thank enough, living through the past several months with the COVID, the creativity that the libraries have shown, but it's always been there. You have been a place that breaks down barriers. When you walk in the library, we are equal, and there is equity and opportunity. It doesn't matter our background, our gender, our race, we are equal people, and that's what I love about the library system. And during this time, as our county exec stated, we've taught, we've learned, and I am convinced that this library in particular will be well utilized, and not only those who walk into the community. And so thank you to the partners. In my other hat, the final thing I'll say, as a research scientist, I've just spent a lot of time looking at programs and grants and foundations. And I just want to say to the foundations who donated, who are part of this, and the community, thank you for the efforts of the foundation, the Friends, for raising almost $1 million, and to Longwood and Crestala and Crystal Trust. Thank you for recognizing the value of our libraries. They have been places of education, COVID testing. Thank you for all that you've done. And finally, to the construction guys, we look forward to you getting ahead. Hopefully the weather will cooperate. Unlike our colleagues this morning down in Louisiana, I've been on the phone already with the Lieutenant Governor there. They have had a rough night. So we're going to hope that our weather continues here in a positive direction, and that we can turn dirt and be back here earlier in 2022. So thank you on behalf of Governor Carney, myself, and Secretary Bullock is the master of details of libraries, so I saved that for him. Marcus, I'll turn it back to you. Thank you.
I'm going to introduce Secretary of State Bullock in a minute, but I just want to say how much I appreciate his office over in my tenure the last 10 years. We've had projects that had a lot of challenges, financially and otherwise, and Jeff and his team has always been there for us for this project as well, so thank you. And thank you for your partnership. With that, our Secretary of State, Jeff Bullock.
morning, everyone. And thank you for inviting me. I'll be very, very brief. As usual, the Lieutenant Governor said everything I was going to say, so I'm not left with a whole lot. But I just want to, say a couple things. Number one, I do know our Governor Carney wanted to be here today, but as you can imagine, he's kind of busy with other stuff. But I know he and his predecessor, Governor Markell, we're very, very interested in this project, and as a number of people have said, it's been a long time coming. I can remember when I was the Chief Administrative Officer of Newcastle County, back more than 12 years ago, because I've been Secretary of State almost 12 years now, coming down to Middletown and taking a look at that little spot where the current library is and saying, you know, this is a start. Never thinking that it would be 12, 13, 14, 15 years later before we actually got to this point. But you know, they say good things come to those who wait. And so I just took a quick look at those drawings, and this is just going to be an awesome, awesome facility. Much like the other new libraries that we built in the time that I've been fortunate enough to be Secretary of State, and whether it's up in Claymont or down on Route 9 or down in Dover or any of the places that we built these new libraries, they are just things of beauty, and they are really community gathering spots. The nature of libraries has changed dramatically, even since I've been in office, and we've changed with it. And I know they've been thanked a couple times, but I want to thank them again because I get to do things like this, but the real hard work is in these two women who are in front of me, Dr. Norman and Diana Brown, who just put their heart and soul into Delaware's library system, and in particular Newcastle County's library system. And I also want to thank all the legislators who are here, Senator, for your work, and to the members of council who are here. These are the people that actually appropriate the money so that we can build these things. And let me tell you, there's a lot of need out there for very scarce dollars these days, and next year's even going to be a bigger challenge. So I'm very, very thankful to them, to all the foundations that are helping, and of course the friends who make all this work. This is going to be an awesome, awesome project, and it's going to be the pride of Middletown when it's done. Thank you to everybody who's been part of it. Thank you again for having me here today.
I'd like to introduce your state senator, Stephanie Hansen.
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me and giving me a couple of minutes to speak. It's a funny story. I always get mixed up with Bethany, right? Because I followed Bethany into the seat, and Bethany and Stephanie and two blonde women, you know. So Bethany has to leave. And so it got mixed up where Bethany and Stephanie have to leave. So neither one of us ended up on the program. So, but you get both of us. So lucky you. I am so happy and thrilled that this is coming to fruition. You know, I drive past here every day, and every day I was looking to see, you know, are we ready yet? Are we ready to turn ground? The Pew Research Center in 2013 did a study, and they found that 72% of all Americans 16 years and older have either used a public library in the last 12 years or live in a household where another family member is an active recent user. And out of those people, 91% said they had never had a negative experience in a library. What else that you do in your life can you say, I've never had a negative experience doing? Have you had a negative experience going to the post office, going to the grocery store, think of all the things that you do. But 91% of the people said they have never had a negative experience in a library. And I think that's because libraries have become trusted, neutral spaces. And like we've heard from some of the previous speakers and Secretary Bullock, is libraries have gradually taken on new functions and new roles. So now they're more than just a place where you go and lend books and get books. There's someone there that's going to help you with all sorts of perhaps social service issues, housing issues, employment issues. They become really information hubs. And they're places where a lot of people in the community go to get the information that they need. And this library system has recognized that, because I believe that we already have in place folks in other libraries in Newcastle County whose job it is really to be the social service interface, the person that you can come to and talk to about job opportunities and filling out job applications and where do I go to find housing and that sort of thing. It's someone that can connect people to those resources as well. And that's what's so important about this. I know we have someone that was a fixture over at the Apo Library, Emmy Diaz. I don't think that she's here today, but she's one of the many folks that give their time and personal talents to our library system, in which she is there getting to know all the patrons that come in and teaching a coding class. So she's teaching coding to folks that were coming in at the Apo Library, and we're hoping we'll continue to do that and even more at this library here. And I really want to thank the town of Middletown. We got our vice mayor here and our town council, Mr. McGee, and Councilman McGee and Councilman Blight, and because they have been really forward thinking when it comes to planning. This library is here as opposed to someplace else. Remember when there were discussions a long time ago about, well, this should really be out someplace where it's not so congested, where the cars can get to it easier, where the vehicular circulation system is going to work. And that's true. It might work better for vehicles out there, but it works better for people here. It works better for people because Middletown is a walkable town. It's a walkable community. And the members of our town council, our mayor and our vice mayor, are continuing to see to it that that is not lost. They're continuing, they recognize the importance of something that not all governments recognize, particularly all small towns, the value of infrastructure. The value of infrastructure. That's just not planning and having additional sewer capacity to do this. It's working with the road system around it here. It's then working with the other things that are in the near area, like our Silver Lake Park. That is it's a town park, which is right next to us here, that is currently a hub, and we'll be able to get a synergy from those two things. If you go out any day of the week, just about any time, you will see people walking in Middletown and walking around Silver Lake Park, which is right next to us over here. Having the town, now a town library, right next to the town park is like peanut butter and jelly. They're just gonna go together, right? And it's wonderful, and it's great planning, and we really have a lot to thank of our town council and our town councilman, as well as our county executive, for really working together to bring this here into our community, because this is going to be fantastic. So I just want to end my comments with, I can't wait till the library's built. I used to have community meetings over at the other library, the other library location, at least once or twice a month. Kevin Schwed knows that. I know that he many times opened up the library for us when he didn't have to. We really appreciate that. When we can finally all get back together again, we're going to be back having meetings in this library as well. And thank you very much.
Before I introduce the next speaker, I want to give a big shout out to a gentleman that assisted me for well over a year in helping with this land acquisition, which was not easy, to say the least. And that's Vince Garlick. Vince, can you raise your hand, please? Thank you. Next up, we have our esteemed Councilman, County Councilman Bill Bell, for remarks. Good friend of mine, too.
Good morning. This will probably be the briefest comments that I'll make at this point in time, because we all put programs together, we all work together, but the district that our new library, while it is Newcastle County, is within District Number 8, and our county councilman for District Number 8 is Dave Carter, and I am the district councilman for Councilman 12. And while we work tremendously closely together in county government, John Cartier from up north will attest to it, I would like to yield at this time to the Honorable Dave Carter from District 8 to speak before I speak.
Before Dave speaks, I mean, he has played a really, really important role with the fundraising as well. That's why they got up to $60,000, thanks to his help. So thank you, Dave, seriously. Okay.
Well, thank you. This is a amazingly pleasant reprieve from COVID-19 and tornadoes, which have consumed much of my life for the last few months. And I just want to thank everyone from this community who stuck this out for all these years to get this library. The town, the state, all of council, all of the government officials that worked, and the community with so much patience. They talked about this planning starting back in 2007. I can tell you that the advocacy and the efforts for a library started much sooner. And I can tell you in the late 1990s, when we would be warned about a fire hazard for Southern Newcastle County Alliance meetings in the basement of the Corbett Collins Library, if you've ever been there, some ADA issues and access issues. We would leave a little shared library space at Middletown High School to the State Service Center to meet because we did not have those facilities, and Chuck Mulholland and a few of us really rallied hard. And I'm trying to date how long ago, but I do remember at many of those meetings a very promising candidate who had not yet served in office named BETHANY Hall Long would show up and meet with us quite frequently. So we've been at it for a while. This is really a sweet, sweet moment for all of us. Been a long time coming, and being here today for the first time, even having passed ordinance on this, I know it's real, and that's really important to me. Nowhere in Newcastle County is it more important for us at this point in time to have a library. We're in a district and an area of the county that is growing faster than any other area in the county and probably the state. We have a lot of new people coming in, and we don't have a lot of places where the new and the old can really congregate, can really meet in a neutral, trusted space to get to know each other, to work out our cultural differences, to have our children get to know each other. And libraries serve that role, something that we desperately need opportunities for, and this in the park, I think, will help with that. You know, a lot of people say you can't judge a book by its cover. Well, I can tell you in Newcastle County, you can't judge a library by its books. As Stephanie mentioned, or Senator Hansen mentioned earlier, our libraries do so much more. And this location of this one had a lot of thought, a lot of heated discussion, I can assure you of that on the council, to keep it here because we knew it could best serve our communities. More than just books, you know, our libraries, their books, their computers, all of those things are really important, but that place to gather, that place to interact, and that place for our children and all of us to imagine what our future can be, imagine what can be. It becomes our creative commons, and less common space currently exists, and it's just so, so important. You know, in Newcastle County, I can say, anyone who's looked at our libraries, they truly are dynamic, socially responsive institutions that are really changing to meet incredible needs in our society. We're very fortunate to have our officials doing it here and placing it here. Our libraries are the nexus of something really important, particularly at this point in time, and that's our nexus for diversity, and often a lifeline to some of our most vulnerable citizens to step up. Public libraries were started by Carnegie many years ago, who went from poverty to one of the richest men in the world due to access in libraries, and then decided to spend his fortune to make libraries possible for all. And we follow in that tradition and really help people. So I want to thank everyone who was dedicated. I want to personally thank Matt. I remember when he was running, we had this discussion, and libraries and parks, before I even thought about politics, were pretty pointed discussions that he agreed with, and we're finally here. So thank everyone that has made this a reality. This is just a really, really sweet moment for this entire community, and I can't wait to hold my first council community meeting in a new library very soon. Thank you.
Okay, next up, from the Friends of the Southern Library at this time, it's my great pleasure to introduce Friends President Susan KEMER. Having joined her on a number of visits to potential funders, I can assure you that no one has worked harder or has been more passionate about the need for a library to serve the residents of Newcastle County. She was our home run hitter with the funders. She really was. And all the thanks to Susan KEMER. Susan, could you please come up? Thank you.
Hello, friends. I hope that you are all friends of your local library. I'm the president of the Friends of Newcastle County Southern Library. It's a nonprofit associated with the Appoquinimink Community Library. I'm a parent, although my children are grown, and I see a few children here and I want to acknowledge them. I see Kay's brought someone, and Stephanie, your children, and I just want to acknowledge them. Oh, there's a little baby in the back. And another young girl. The children are the reason that I volunteer. My children are grown, but I'm a volunteer and an avid reader. One of my first memories as a child, and I know I've told this story before at other public meetings, is walking to the local public library from my kindergarten class to check books out. I walked to the local library as a teenager, which was quite a distance and not very many sidewalks. One of the first things I did arriving in MOT, and I say MOT because this will serve not only Middletown, but residents of Townsend and Odessa as well. To find the local library in the old Academy building, I took my children there, and later to the Middletown High School library, and now myself to the current location. This has been a long time coming. My children are now grown and are teaching my grandchildren to read and love books and libraries and the magic and treasure of books and the adventures that you find within the pages of those books and found on library shelves with programs and other library services. My daughter is a patron of the New York Library, and I want to thank that library for helping my grandson love books as much as I do, and his mother. Our library is a place where the staff know you by name. Mary is here today, and I wanted to thank her. She is someone that I remember from my first visits to the library here in Middletown. Our library is the heart of this area, not just due to location, but because it is magical, as other people have said, fun, an engaging place to be. If you've ever been there when the pause reading group is there, you can just see it, and so many other programs. Along with being a resource for many services. All this wouldn't be possible without the people. The staff who work, create, and care, not just for materials, but for us, the community and patrons. They know you by name. This is also not possible without the patrons who help make our library an exuberant, diverse, thoughtful, beautiful place as we visit, connect, gather, bring life to the building, and so much more. I would be remiss in not thanking Pat Bergenal, the Newark Library Manager, who was the acting library manager at the Appoquinimink Community Library at the time, to request my help with reactivating the Friends, along with Dr. Ralph DeFries, another volunteer. Kevin Sved, our current library manager, has also been very instrumental in this process, along with our county and state officials who've been recognized, Diana and Annie. Our current Friends Board, who have diligently donated their time to support the library on Friends Building Fund. The members of the Building Fund Committee, especially Kristen Krenzer, the chair of the committee, along with Councilman David Carter and Volunteer Brewing Company, who helped organize and sponsor our initial fundraiser last fall. The current Friends Building Fund was started with funds from an earlier Friends group who diligently worked to earn money for the Friends, a generous tribute from the many residents of this area who love our community and libraries. Finally, it wouldn't be possible without the many volunteers who have donated their time to our fundraising efforts, including Friends members and local students who have volunteered to help our efforts. As a volunteer in my years working with the Friends and as a patron, I've spoken to people from many walks of life, circumstances and interests who love the library. I know I feel the vibrant energy that inspires the thirst for knowledge and is found by opening the doors to that place and discovering the treasures inside. I feel it walking through the doors. It is a place that builds community. We are all welcome, as others have said. We all have access. We all can benefit from the gift of this library to our community. By many generous donors, the funding provided by Newcastle County, our state, and the community joining together to make this a reality. The Friends have committed in partnership with Newcastle County to raise a portion of the funds for this building. And through various means, we are about 90%, a little more than what Mark has said, to meeting our fundraising goal. We're hoping to raise an additional approximately $70,000 to help meet this goal, to help furnish and beautify this magnificent building that has been designed and is ceremoniously starting construction today. Please contact me or any member of the Friends Board if you're interested in committing to invest and support the future of our community as a library supporter. Any amount is welcome. We will be posting a sign at the site to show how close we are to meeting our goal shortly. With the generous contribution of, I can't remember the name now because Rob changed it, but Alpaca Signs, and his business has changed hands, but Rob Stout and his business. Newcastle County isn't just starting construction. They are planting seeds of hope, inspiration, dreams, and building community. Thank you so kindly for your support in our efforts as a nonprofit to make this idea become the best it can be.
Okay, just a few announcements, then we'll do the groundbreaking. Matt wanted me to mention the excitingness of the fact that we'll have a new paramedic station in early 2021 here, right? What we're really excited about, under the leadership of our Public Works GM, Tracy Searles, is we're gonna have a new Southern Park down here soon too, right? There's going to be a Zoom meeting, I believe, to review the final master plan for the Southern Park on September 30th. We'll make sure everybody gets that information. The plan includes designs for much-needed park facilities while being sensitive to the surrounding neighbors and enhancing the existing landscape of the area. There's been this engagement in the past with the residents in this community. They want paved pathways for walking, running, and bicycling, multi-purpose fields for soccer and hockey and football, basketball courts, tennis courts, pickleball, inclusive play areas, and pavilions, and even a small amphitheater. Now, those are the wish lists, so hopefully we'll see what we can do with that, but we're excited about that. We do expect a groundbreaking for this to happen at the end of 2021. The public can stay engaged on this initiative, tracking our website at www.newcastle.gov/Southern Park. And with that, let's get to the groundbreaking. Thank you.